Hi everyone, thank you so much for joining me for this new video around my campaign Operation Dark Winter. Today will be the mission briefing for the next mission, and we'll have a look at the base of operation and the model that will go on that mission. So a brief tour about what we did last time. We did the Prospect Height mission, which granted us two things. It unlocked the technical wing in the base of operation, we'll see that just after, and it also unlocked Paul Rhodes, which unlock the sniper as OTA rule. So basically this, instead of placing one of my model equipped with a sniper rifle on the board next to the model and he will need to move around, I can place them outside of the board, and this will be selected randomly, his position and his distance between the board, and it's basically act as a sniper that is on another district, is quite far from the battleground, and he can act as just a regular model. He can still fires, he just won't be able to move, and also once he fires there is a chance he's compromised and he will need to leave his area. But yeah, we'll check that when we get there. So this is what we did last time. Now let's have a look at the base of operation. So here's our base. As you can see here, we just unlocked the technical wing that allow us to build a couple of things, and I wanted to do that mission to have the ability to start building the kitchen. The kitchen can produce 2 food per day, so this is really the stuff that I want to build as soon as possible in the campaign. Looking at the resource we have available, in the last mission we send 6 characters, 6 models into a mission, and each food can feed up to 3 people. So we basically consume 2 food. Also, at each time you send model in a mission, the group of model consume 1 ammo resource. In green, we have all the resources we gain during that mission. So as you can see here, we gain a couple of ammunition, we gain some building materials, medicine, and 2 intels. But we are quite low on food. And if I want to send 6 models into the next mission, they will consume all my food. The problem is I also want to expand my base. I want to start building the kitchen. So I will need to also have 1 civilian affected to that room. If I don't have enough food to feed all my models, basically the model that will be sent out in a mission will have some reduced stats. So basically he will get a -2 to all his stats. So that's pretty bad, but yeah, I don't really have the choice. I really need to start building the kitchen. So first thing, I will need to use 2 building materials and 1 food to build that. So we'll take 2 building materials and 1 fuel and 1 fuel. So we'll just remove that. And I will also need to place 1 civilian in that room to actually start to build it. So yes. So this civilian is currently working that room, and next turn, next game, he will be this room will be available and will be able to start to produce some food. Another extension that I also want to build quickly is everything that is with the workshop. So first the workshop can craft a smoke grenade, which is kind of cool. But after that we unlock the sewing station that can build the body armor, and also the workbench that unlock the creation of a backpack. And those 2 ones can really be helpful. In addition to that, we have the black market and the trade center that are really important. The black market, I can sold cars that I don't use anymore, that I don't need. And I start to have a couple of cars that I won't equip to any of my model, so the black market could be really helpful to, yeah, just to sold my card against some random resources. So what I will do also is work on the workshop. So I will need 1 fuel, 2 building material, and 1 ammo. So 1 fuel, 2 building material, and 1 ammo. So as you can see, we start to get low on resource pretty quickly. I will really definitely need to find some more resource in my next game. So here we have two civilians working in the base. That means that since we have only 2 food, we'll only be able either to send 4 models on the next mission or 6, but 2 of them will have some reduced stats. So now that we are done with the base of operation, let's have a look at the world map. So back on our map, I just have a look at the different missions available. I again wanted to go back to Red Hook to unlock the 5 GTF model as it was my goal in some of the previous missions, but since we are pretty low on resources, I decided to do the Clinton Inn mission. Here the government dropped some supplies by helicopter in the area. There is some bit of information how to set up the mission, but basically I will need to interact with the supply crate to retrieve some really cool resources. If I manage to end up gain and succeed at that mission, I will unlock 2 superior cards, 1 SHD skill, and 5 resource roll on the supply run table. So that's pretty cool. I will really need those supplies, and I will also really need to loot some more civilian vehicles to find some cool stuff. So yeah, we're going to do this mission next, and now let's have a look at the model available for that next mission. So here's all the model that we have available for that next mission. On the left we start with Nick Hayat, our agent of the division. We have Brian Gamble, our SWAT officer, Dante Adams, one of the National Guard. Then we have John McClane, the detective, Louis Alexander, the civilian, and John C., the newly acquired police officer. And here is all their gear for now. Maybe switch, yeah. So here we have Nick Hayat, which is equipped with a pistol and a Bushmaster ECR. We have only 3 silence weapons for now, but we find 1 in the last mission, so we'll need to equip that. And yeah, that's what we have available. This is all the cards that we still have, that we still find on our last mission and some other that we did in the past. And something that we really want to equip is that MAC-10 silence SMG. So this will be really helpful. Yeah, let's have a look at how we can affect those cards. So, I've been putting some thoughts on that. What I will do. First, Louis Alexander, I will leave him at the base of operation for that mission. He won't be deployed. I will send those 4 models in the next mission, and I will send Jonesy, the newly acquired police officer. I will send him as OTA with a sniper rifle. So he won't equip this M4, and he will just equip one of the 2 sniper rifles that I have here, and they actually all have the same stats. So let's take the Accuracy International AWAP. And this model will be placed as OTA. And this is the guy that won't hit for this mission. That means that all his stats will reduce by 2. But since he's in a static position, he actually won't need any of the stats except from the shooting stat. And he is already at 4, so that means he will start with a shooting stat of 2. But yeah, this is the guy that will be placed as OTA, and we'll see if he's still useful. Now regarding the rest of our models, as you can see here we have 1, 2, 3 silence weapons. We definitely need that John McClane receive this MAC-10 over here, so we'll just equip that on him. Also, if you didn't follow in some of the other missions, when you have 2 primary weapons, let's say that you are for example equipped with 2 long weapons like that, not one with compact. 2 long weapons like that. When you switch from one long weapon to another long weapon, you have a maluses, like your shooting stat is reduced by 2 for that specific turn, because it takes some time to switch weapon and to aim. But this doesn't happen when you are switching to either a pistol or a rifle that have the compact rule. So here is just, for example, here if I'm switching from the pistol to the Chris Vector, since both of them are compact, I won't have any maluses. Same for John McClane with his SIG and his MAC-10. So what I will do also, Brian Gamble need a pistol, so I just unlocked, just found this Colt M45, so I will equip that on him. And for Nick Hayat, I will also remove his Bushmaster ACR, and I will equip something a bit better. And I'm thinking at two different things. I'm thinking at either giving him the full shorty, which have a high lethality, or the Zusat that have some cool accessory. And yeah, I'm not sure. What else do we have? All the others are pretty similar, except for the G3 that have the compact rule. We also have a first shotgun, but I don't really like that shotgun. I would prefer to have a more tactical shotgun. This one also have only 2 ammo. So yeah, let's go with the Zusat. I will equip the Zusat on Nick Hayat. And finally, what I will do also here, we have some accessories. So here the holster basically allow the model that is equipped of the holster to shoot in outside of the combat phase freely. So I will equip that on Dante Adams. So basically it grants him a free attack during any moment outside of the combat phase. And also I will... Actually, I can't equip the smoke grenade. That's too bad. Yeah, because all of them have a green equipment, and in my campaign you can only have one. How can I say that? You can only have one equipment of the same color on one model. So maybe actually I will remove the holster from someone. I will actually remove the holster from Dante Adams so he can equip that smoke grenade. I will really need to have some backpack, because if I had a green backpack, one model could be having 2 different equipments. So yeah, anyway, this is what we are going with. We have those 4 models that will go in the next mission, with John C here, which will be our sniper that will be placed in a building, on top of a building nearby the district we are going to attack. So thanks everyone for following me for that new video, and I will see you for the next mission, which will be mission number 7. Bye everyone!